and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today we will get an update from Robert Pearson, director of the Norfolk County RSVP program. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it is chilly, 31 degrees right now with sunshine and blustery as well. That wind has got a bit of a bite to it for sure. The chill of winter in the air this afternoon. Temperatures only in the low 30s with a wind chill factor. Lows drop tonight into the lower 20s. Starts to moderate over the weekend. Tomorrow will be a little bit warmer, a mix of clouds and sun. Still kind of breezy with a high tomorrow near 40. Then we get some overnight flurries to start Sunday, but they'll quickly disappear as temperatures Sunday rise into the mid-40s. It looks like some rain around here on Monday with moderating temperatures into the mid-40s. Actually, most of next week looks rather unsettled with the chances for rain showers each day. But again, sunshine, breezy, 31 in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, the average residential property tax bill in Quincy will be rising by $320 next year. City Council earlier this week did set the new property tax rates of $11.53 per thousand for residential property, $23.01 per thousand for commercial property. Now, the rates reflect the greatest amount that the city can tax commercial property to help lessen the burden on homeowners. City Council President Ian Kane feels that Quincy taxpayers are getting good value for their dollar.
There are so many different wonderful aspects of what this city provides that I think, unfortunately, we're not an a la carte. There's no a la carte method to consuming city services, but that's why I say it's subjective. It just depends on how you look at things, and you can look at things different ways. You can look at things and say, you can look at things negatively and then you'd hate everything, or you could look at things positively and make the best of it also. But again, there are all these extraneous circumstances that play into this tax rate that I think muddy the waters in some certain circumstances, especially around the economy, and especially around what we talked about at the beginning with the stock and the inventory of homes, And I think that if you were to, take a look at people's home values where they've lived for 20 to 60 whatever years, their home values are wild.
City Council did approve using $2 million from free cash to help reduce the tax rate, bringing the free cash account down to $1.43 million. The median value of residential properties in Quincy increased by 2.26% this year. Well, Quincy residents gathered at the Granite Links Golf Club earlier this week for a community meeting about a proposal to extend the lease that Quarry Hills Associates has with the city to operate that facility for another 50 years. Councilor at Large Scott Campbell hosted the meeting, which was also attended by Mayoral Representative Chris Walker, who said the lease extension proposal was a joint effort by the city and Quarry Hills Associates.
And our position, the mayor's position, is we have a remarkably successful facility that attracts tens of thousands of people from over the Commonwealth, from across the country to this place, and it provides the city a direct revenue stream. There's very few scenarios under which that would have played out in any event. And that's why when we approach this lease extension, the general philosophy is, how do we make Quarry Hills more successful than it already is? And the extension is how we do that. And when Quarry Hills is successful, the city is successful. If Quarry Hills is allowed to do some of these new things, that's more revenue to the city.
Some residents did raise questions about the financial arrangement between Quarry Hills and the city, the plans by Quarry Hills to potentially purchase 12 acres of the property and access and maintenance to public walking trails and playing fields at Quarry Hills. The Quincy City Council's Ordinance Committee will be holding a public hearing about that proposal Monday at 6:30 at City Hall. Well, family and friends of active duty military personnel are invited to come to the General's Bridge and Park tree lighting ceremony this coming Sunday and place the name of their loved one on the tree for the holidays. Mayor Thomas Koch says it's a symbol of support from the entire city.
We light the tree at the General's Park by the General's Bridge, and the idea down that one is we invite Quincy families who have a loved one currently serving in the military. They write their name on a ribbon, and we put the ribbons up on the tree. It's just a reminder that we come together as a community supporting one another. And many of those kids will not be home for the holidays. They're serving whatever branch they've chosen, different parts of the world. So we certainly want to remind those families that we're behind them, we're with them, we support them as their loved ones serve and are in harm's way.
Again, that ceremony will be held this coming Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. at the corner of Dunford Drive and McConville Way, right in Quincy Center. City of Quincy now owns the Wollaston Congregational Church building. The City Council this week agreed to purchase that 1926 stone church on Wollaston Hill for $1.1 million. City Council President Ian Kane read a letter from the church members who explained that they're dissolving their congregation and wanted the building to be used for community programs.
To the Quincy City Council, the Wollaston Congregational Church, after over 100 years of worship, is dissolving our church family. We'd feel we are continuing our legacy to the community by having the city purchase the church building for community space. Despite a very small Sunday worship, hundreds of people use our church building every week. 4 recovery groups, Boy Scout Troop 42, the Wollaston Garden Club, Melodrama Youth Drama Performing Arts Group, and Breda's Women's Irish Step Class, all meeting weekly. There's a large 3-classroom preschool space that is currently not being used that could fulfill city needs. We've hosted many music and concert recitals in our sanctuary space, and it is reported to be one of the best acoustic venues in the city. We hope with the city purchase of the church building, the Wollaston Community Center can continue to serve the city. Thank you, Wollaston Congregational Church.
Wollaston Garden Club also submitted a letter in favor of the city purchasing that building. Mayor Thomas Koch says the hope is to convert the building into a community center for the Wollaston neighborhood. That building is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. North Quincy High School football coach Ryan Craig is this week's New England Patriots High School Coach of the Week. This past Tuesday, NFL Hall of Fame linebacker Andre Tippett visited North and honored Craig and presented the football program there with a $1,000 donation from the Kraft family and the New England Patriots Charitable Foundation. Craig was recognized after the Raiders' stunning Thanksgiving Day game win over the Quincy Presidents in overtime. The Patriots have been participating in the NFL's High School Coach of the Week program for 29 years. At the end of this season, one of their weekly winners will also be named the High School Coach of the Year and receive an additional $2,000 donation for that school's football program. This past Tuesday's events at North will be featured on the Patriots' weekly TV show tonight at 7 o'clock on Channel 4. You can now play Quincy-opoly. The new board game has been developed based on the classic Monopoly. It's being unveiled ahead of the Quincy 400 celebration next year. Players can purchase Quincy properties, including Quincy Avenue, Center Street, Quincy Shore Drive. The new game and some other Quincy paraphernalia are all available at the new Quincy 400 headquarters, which opened up this week in the Monroe Building on Hancock Street in Quincy Center. The shop will be open tomorrow and then again next Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Quincy-opoly costs $25. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, we chat with Robert Pearson of the Norfolk County RSVP program. That's next. Welcome back. This is a great time of year to get an update from Robert Pearson, Director of the Norfolk County RSVP program, because there are a lot of different volunteer opportunities that are underway right now. So, Robert, great to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Joe. I am always happy to chat with you, and happy holidays.
Thank you. The same to you as well. As I mentioned, a very busy time of year, and I know traditionally the RSVP program is very active in helping our military.
Indeed, we are running our 6th annual holiday drive for active duty military, where we collect over 30 different types of personal care items, bug lotion, deodorant, microwave popcorn, iced tea, socks, t-shirts, kind of like you name it, as long as they're new. We're happy to get the items, and we send them down to Cape Cod Cares for our troops. In Falmouth, we actually have a caravan where we run it down the second week of January typically. So between now and the new year, we encourage folks to donate items. Folks could call me at 781-234-3445 to find out the closest donation sites, as well as if they want to mail some directly to Cape Cod Cares, I could give them the address as well. Last year we had probably about 5,000 items donated, including a shampoo and conditioner manufacturer in Walpole donated close to 2,000 bottles of shampoo. We have very clean troops around the country and the world.
Yeah, it's important to keep them in mind, certainly this time of year especially, but this runs through the holidays, right? Not just until Christmas.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And even, the first week, of January, if people want to send them along, they're welcome to do it as well.
Absolutely. I know there are some collection locations, Medfield, Norfolk, Sharon, and Walpole. But as you say, contact you and maybe arrange a drop-off there at your office as well, right?
Exactly. I'd say Dedham is probably the closest location for folks in Quincy to come. Sorry, I don't have a place closer this year.
That's all right. And again, year-round, I'm sure there are donations that are needed for sure by the troops and military.
It's true. It's true. We just do this once a year, but Michelle De Silva, who runs the Cape Cod Cares, welcomes donations year-round. That is true, Joe. Thanks.
Sure, absolutely. It won't be long. We'll be thinking about taxes, Robert. And your volunteers are here to help.
You have to remind me.
I know, right? What a downer.
About taxes. Well, I'm glad you did, though, because this is the time of year we are recruiting new volunteers for Quincy Community Action Program, VITA Tax volunteering. You could help low-income individuals and families by preparing tax returns free of charge. You would complete the IRS-certified VITA tax training program. Basically come into the center once or twice a week. No prior experience is necessary. Training will be provided, and you will be helping folks who are low income who really need it. I will say that we are having a Zoom orientation on December 12th, which is next Thursday, with Rob Canada, who's the facilitator through QCAP of this program. And if anybody is interested just to learn more, it's not that you must sign up. If you want to learn more about helping, please call me 781-234-3445.
Very good, and that's something that folks can do right here in Quincy. QCAP's, of course, right downtown Quincy, and that's one of their most popular programs, I know.
It is, and there is a lot of training. They have a pretty clear schedule. There's an orientation that'll be happening on Tuesday, January 7th in the evening for those that sign up in person. A week later, there will be volunteer standards of conduct, site operations and security. And then on Saturday all day, January 18th, there will be the VITA federal tax training in the offices. There'll also be, for people that can't make that, on Tuesday, January 21st at 6 p.m., an evening tax training. So they're very well equipped to help you learn, help you if there are issues throughout, and it's a wonderful way to do customer service as well as do the taxes. And there are opportunities for people who prefer to just work on the numbers primarily or work with the people and possibly some combination.
Sure. And I would venture a guess that the volunteers in this program probably learn something new every year as well, because the tax laws change every year, right?
I dare say,
Yeah.
I dare say, Joe, they do. But while we're still on Quincy, I am now adding at the Boston Chinatown Neighborhood Center, which really their new name is BCNC. Those are the initials. That's what they go by. We are looking, we're hoping to help them find in-person classroom assistants, front desk receptionists, and interview prep coaches. The interview prep coaches is the most flexible, where somebody would be on call when somebody is ready in the program to go on, get ready for job interviews.
Okay.
And this person would help them prepare. Otherwise, the front desk receptionist is a regular shift, as is the classroom assistant.
Okay, and would these volunteers need to be multilingual, Robert?
They don't need
No.
to be,
No.
though people who do speak Chinese would be helpful in some cases. I mean, clearly, some students that are really beginners would do well to have somebody that speaks some Chinese.
Sure.
But there are many students that are far enough along that volunteers that don't speak Chinese are quite okay.
Okay.
Or other languages, I'm not that sure of, but
Okay.
that's the primary language need.
Certainly. And that's located at the Wollaston Lutheran Church, is that right? North Quincy, Wollaston?
I don't think it's at
Oh,
a
no.
church, the location. I think it's down the block on the same street as QCAP, really. But,
okay.
I might be wrong. It's your turf more than mine, Joe.
Okay. Either way, it's in Quincy.
It is.
Very good. We should
It
tell
is.
folks again, back to the VITA program for a minute. VITA is an acronym, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, right?
I'm glad you had that on hand. I would have had to look it up. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Yes. You're
and do-
good at this, Joe. You're good at figuring things
do-
out.
doing this a little while. Do these volunteers have to be retired, Robert?
Definitely not.
Okay.
They do not have to be. I mean, granted, I recruit volunteers. It's a good point, that are age 55 and older.
Right.
Older. Most of who are retired. Some are who are not. But any of these volunteer opportunities are open for people who are younger. And if you're under 55, you could still contact me, and I will direct you to the facilitator at the partner site at QCAP or at BCNC.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to, that's over 18, is welcome.
Excellent. Now, without a doubt, your most popular program, right, at the RSVP program is your Rides for Veterans.
It is a remarkable, meaningful program that is indeed foremost in our minds, because we are giving rides to veterans virtually every day of the week. It's weekdays, occasionally on weekends. We are always looking for new drivers as we add new veteran riders to our ranks, who sometimes would like to go to an appointment more than once a week. Right now, we still need to limit our rides to one per week per veteran, unless it's a true emergency. And we typically need, 5 days' notice in order to find a volunteer who can do this ride. They could be one-way rides, round trips. They could be any length. And we have probably about a 95% track record of being able to, to find the volunteers. If somebody is in a real emergency, call us a day before, 2 days before. We'll get on the horn. We'll try, and I'd say we're able often to accommodate that. But we hope, for your sake and our sake, that there are not too many emergency calls.
Right, yeah. So why the limitation, Robert, is just because of the lack of volunteers that are available?
That's right.
Okay.
It's the lack of volume, and we have somehow found the ways to, with a two-person dispatch, myself and Chris Goldsmith, who's our volunteer coordinator. As you know, RSVP is primarily involved with recruiting volunteers for other partner sites. This is the only program we really run in-house from soup to nuts.
Right.
So we do, we do our own recruitment, our own training of volunteers. We've procured a website, a web portal that will list all of the ride details, everything that's needed to know about the client. And we're always on hand. We're getting calls every single day for ride requests or people that need clarification.
Okay.
So that's why we're not able to do more. It's kind of like, it's not that we are a well-kept secret, but if we were inundated, we'd have to limit it more. But we've been running it, Joe, for over 10 years now.
Wow.
And you may recall, I hope I had sent you a tribute book of all of the stories. If not, I'm going to send one right to you. Do you remember getting one?
I don't
We
think
did
so,
come out with-
actually, no.
Oh my God, I can't
Yeah.
believe I haven't sent you a tribute book. So, after 10 years, we put together about a 45-page booklet with a lot of stories of all the giving back and forth between riders and drivers, and it really shows how the program's been about a lot more than transportation. It's been about connection, helping folks reduce their sense of social isolation, people staying in contact with their veterans, more regularly than just for an occasional ride.
Sure, yeah.
So that's a wonderful program, which comes back to, if you in Quincy or the surrounding areas would like to volunteer, it's very flexible.
Okay.
We also give you supplemental accident and liability insurance and mileage reimbursement. Please call me.
So how many volunteers in this program now, and how many ideally would you like to have, Robert?
Oh, well, let me be careful what I wish for. We have about 40 drivers right now.
Okay.
Safe to say, with some transitions coming up that I'll get into, that maybe another 8 to 10 volunteers would be great. And quite honestly, more from Quincy and Weymouth would be great. We also need more from the western part of the county.
Okay.
We need them from, Franklin and Plainville and Bellingham and Foxborough.
Okay. The more rural areas, sure. It's a longer ride, certainly, to get to. Is it typically to a VA hospital that they're getting rides to, or could it be a private physician as well?
It's both. I'd say
Okay.
60% or 70% to the VA hospitals,
Yep.
Jamaica Plain, West Rocks, or Brockton.
Yep.
We will go to New Bedford on occasion. We will go to Rhode Island on occasion.
Really? Okay.
Again, we have the mileage reimbursement money. If you have the time, we will do it. We will support you to get mileage reimbursement no matter where you take the veteran. We haven't had any requests to New York City yet, and I'm glad we haven't.
Okay.
That would be we can't afford the hotel for people.
No, it might be cheaper just to fly there. Before we run out of time today, Robert, I know that you have a personal message that you'd like to share with folks today.
I do, Joe. As you know, it is time for me after 10 and a half years, everybody, to be retiring my position. I will no longer be the director of Norfolk County RSVP as of March 1st. And of course, it's bittersweet because I haven't had a more fulfilling, gratifying career or work outside of this over the past 10 and a half years. But it is time for more family and personal time for travel and volunteer activities myself. So I want to wish everybody well. We are looking for my replacement, and we will put them in good shape to be able to take over the recruitment and the fulfillment, the volunteer recognition, as well as getting ready for next year's volunteer recognition luncheon in August. So thank you, everybody. I've had a very meaningful time. Joe, I've really enjoyed your support and connecting with you throughout the years.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Robert, to work with you and to bring your message to the community. We hope we've been able to get some good volunteer recruits for you over these years. And,
You have.
You cannot be replaced. I'll just say your successor, not your replacement. You are irreplaceable, but it's been
We
a
are
real
each
pleasure.
unique, true. Thank you. Thanks so much, Joe. I wish you all the best.
Absolutely. The same to you, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you. You as well, Joe.
Just enough
Bye,
time to check the forecast. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Bye, everybody.
Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Winter's chill is in the air for sure, with temperatures only in the low 30s and a wind chill even colder than that, down at the lower 20s this evening. Not a bad weekend coming up. Tomorrow's okay, mainly sunny with a high around 40. Look out for some overnight snow showers into Sunday morning, but then quickly warming Sunday into the mid-40s and some just regular rain on Monday with a high in the mid-40s. Thanks again to Robert Pearson for joining us from the Norfolk County RSVP program. Happy retirement, Robert. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday here in the show, Quincy Veteran Services Director Christine Cugini with information about wreaths across America this year. Meantime, check our website, qatv.org. All our latest programs are there. There's news, information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.